Imagine believing in a secret god that could get you executed, and somehow that belief ends up ruling the most powerful empire on earth. The rise of Christianity didn't look like destiny at all, it looked like a mistake waiting to be erased. Small, illegal, misunderstood, and surrounded by enemies, this movement should have vanished quietly in the shadows of Rome. Instead, it spread through fear, hope, betrayal, miracles, politics, and one decision that changed history forever. In the 1st century, the Roman Empire ruled the Mediterranean world with brutal efficiency. Order was everything. The emperor was more than a ruler, he was part of the sacred order of the universe. Religion was public, political, and deeply tied to loyalty. And then a strange Jewish sect appeared, whispering about a crucified man who claimed to be king of a different kind of kingdom. To Romans, this was dangerous nonsense. Christians refused to sacrifice to the Roman gods. They rejected the divine status of the emperor. To Rome, that wasn't just weird, it was rebellion. At first, Christianity was tiny, a scattered network of poor people, slaves, widows, foreigners, and a few stubborn believers who kept meeting in private homes and dark corners of cities. They didn't build temples. They didn't march in public rituals. They passed letters by hand, told stories of a man who died like a criminal, and claimed he had risen from the dead. From the outside, it looked fragile. From the inside, it felt unstoppable. Rome tried to crush it. Persecutions flared up again and again. Christians were blamed for plagues, fires, and disasters. They were fed to animals in arenas, burned alive, executed as examples. And yet, something strange happened. Every wave of violence made the movement grow. Martyrs became walking propaganda. The more the empire tried to silence Christianity, the more powerful its story became. A faith that promised meaning in suffering had a terrifying advantage in a world full of suffering. But persecution alone doesn't explain the rise. Christianity spread because it offered something radically new in the ancient world, a community where social status mattered less. Slaves and elites prayed side by side. Women had roles and voices that were rare in Roman religion. The poor were not invisible, they were cared for. During plagues, when many fled the cities, Christians stayed behind to care for the sick, even at the cost of their own lives. To outsiders, this looked irrational. To those who survived, it looked like proof. Still, for nearly 3 centuries, Christianity hovered on the edge of extinction. It could easily have remained a small underground sect, crushed by the machinery of empire. And then came a twist no one could have predicted. In the early 4th century, a Roman general named Constantine marched toward a decisive battle for control of the empire. According to later accounts, he experienced a strange vision before the fight, a symbol associated with Christ, and a message promising victory. Constantine ordered his soldiers to mark their shields with the Christian symbol. Against all odds, he won. Whether the vision was faith, politics, or clever myth-making, the result was explosive. The most powerful man in the Roman world now favored the forbidden cult. Overnight, Christianity shifted from hunted to protected. Persecution ended. Churches were built with imperial money. Bishops gained political influence. Within decades, the religion that had once hidden in basements stood in marble halls. The movement that had survived by rejecting imperial power was now wrapped in it. And that created a new tension. Christianity had not only survived Rome, it was becoming Rome. This transformation almost tore the religion apart. Fierce arguments erupted over what Christians were even supposed to believe. Was Jesus divine, human, or both? Which writings were sacred? Which beliefs were heresy? These weren't abstract debates, they shaped laws, politics, and power. Emperors now called councils to decide theology. Faith became policy. Unity became strategy. What started as whispered stories became official doctrine, enforced by authority. Here's the paradox. Christianity rose by standing against power, and then stabilized by merging with it. The same empire that once executed Christians now punished people for believing the wrong version of Christianity. The faith that thrived among the marginalized became the religion of emperors. This shift helped Christianity survive for centuries, but it also changed its character forever. And it could have failed even then. Rome itself began to crumble. Civil wars, economic collapse, invasions from outside the empire, the world that had lifted Christianity into power was falling apart. But instead of collapsing with it, the church adapted. As imperial authority weakened, bishops became local leaders. Monasteries preserved knowledge. Christian networks replaced Roman administration in many regions. The religion that once depended on empire outlived the empire itself. So the rise of Christianity wasn't a smooth climb, it was a near-death experience stretched across centuries. It survived because it offered meaning in chaos, community in isolation, hope in a brutal world, and because, at a critical moment, power chose it. Without Constantine, Christianity might have remained a minor sect. Without centuries of persecution, it might never have gained its emotional force. Without Rome's collapse, it might never have learned to stand on its own. History didn't crown Christianity because it was inevitable. It survived because it adapted at every moment it could have disappeared. And the most surprising part is this: the religion that once threatened Rome's order became one of the main forces that carried human culture through Rome's fall. Sometimes history isn't shaped by the strongest armies, but by the ideas that refuse to die when everything else does.